Hello, Nick here with an R-392 receiver, probably from the Korean War surplus era. You can see the ID tag on it. It is, I call it the military version of that's a Collins R-390. This is the military version, which is like super beefed up. It's designed to survive like airdrops out of airplanes and stuff like that. And I think they were mostly used in vehicles and Jeeps and stuff like that. I'm currently bringing in the BBC World Service, trying to get some other perspective on the situation in the Ukraine besides what they're sending out here in the United States. So let's quickly go over some of the controls on this. So obviously you can see this is an old tube radio. So off, standby, normal. Then this is like a limiter, kind of like a noise limiter. It doesn't really do anything now. Net 2 is like if you're going to do independent stuff between two dedicated radios, so you're not really like on the air. I think that's what that means. And then squelch, I really don't know what that is. It's got a nice signal strength meter that works well. This is an antenna trimmer. I've currently got it on a Wellbrook antenna mounted outdoors, and the antenna trim really doesn't do anything. I mean, that's 50 ohms coming in, boom, boom, match, and it just works great. So, but if I use a long wire, then the antenna trim helps out a lot. Antenna jack, it's a BNC converted to PL 259 or whatever they call that for my Wellbrook. And then this is another antenna jack in case you don't have that connection. You just push this in and you can stick a wire in there. Just any old piece of wire, works great. It's got a BFO, so you could bring in sideband and CW. I actually use it to tune to zero beat the AM stations, and I'll show you that in a minute. It's got a AGC circuit, gain control, automatic gain control, so you can turn it on and off. There's your RF gain. I got mine maxed out. Watch, see the meter up and down, maxed out. There's your volume, AF gain. That's how you adjust your BFO pitch if you're trying to bring in sideband or CW. It has the typical megahertz, kilohertz, independent dials, kind of like an analog digital, ani-digi thing here. So, and they're real heavy. These knobs are super heavy. You get a sore wrist. If you've got carpal tunnel, it'll light you on fire. Compared to this Collins, this thing flips around like nothing. All right, this thing here, man, it takes 2 minutes and a boy to twist it. This is what you use to zero out your dial. Because it's old school tubes and all that kind of stuff, it's not accurate 100% across the board. You actually have to zero in the dial every time you switch the band. So what you do is so I want to bring in 735, 15735. So I'll tune 15735, I'll lock down this, and then I'll flip on my BFO and I'll adjust this to zero beat the signal. And when I got it, I can turn that off, unlock that, and I'm money. I'm dialed in. Here's your bandwidth selector, 8 kilohertz, 4 kilohertz, 2. This is a dial lock just to lock it so you don't bump it. It's got 2 inputs here for speakers, audio. So I actually have 2 military speakers. Let me try and show you just these little things here, like this. They're like designed to go in like Jeeps. And I've got 2 of them with the wires fed around the back. There's the other one down there. So it's kind of like stereo. It's a joke in case for some of you didn't get it, but there's the power connection going to, it's 24 volts, so I just have it going to this little rechargeable 24 volt battery. Obviously your megahertz, kilohertz, and then they use the old school megacycles, kilocycles designation. Couple of fuses, a spare fuse, and then here's your dial lamp. So the on-off is up here. And then a dial lamp, I leave it off because that little 24 volt battery I got doesn't last very long. But you got a dim setting and you've got a bright setting if you need it. And then IF out, I think that's what you use that if you're trying to hook this to a, because the Army used to hook this to a transmitter too, so they were like twins. They had a pair, so you had cables going back and forth between the transmitter and then the receiver. But anyway, all right, so those are the controls. Let's turn this thing up, see if BBC's still there. It is it's 9 a.m. Central Standard Time in Dallas, Texas, so that would be 1400 UTC. But here, so let me show you how the zero beat works. So I know from looking it up that the BBC is on 735, 15735. So if we were on 730, so 731, because I got it on wide 8 kilohertz bandwidth, so I could still kind of get it at 731. But if you turn the BFO on, you get that high-pitched tone. To zero beat it, you see how it gets higher? Then it goes down. Then it zeros, and then it goes back up. So zero beat is right about there. So in other words, I could actually, and I turn it off, but I could actually, so if I wanted to, I could put this back on dead 0735, and I lock the dial down, all the way down till it stops, turn the BFO on, and now I got a slight hum. I don't know if this camera phone mic can pick it up, but I'm gonna zero beat it. All right, zero beat. Unlock it. And then we're on exactly 735. And coming in pretty good.
School children in the National Gallery about Vincent de Bourgogne. Everyone knows about the year, about the death by his own hand, and we know so much about it, don't we? The letters, the film, the song that we began around playing. I think I feel almost like a friend to him. Perhaps Sam Vincent, rather than Van Gogh, makes us feel close to him. He has a short, very intense life. His late mother's made in the last 2 years of his life. Really kind of memorable, very strong, bright, paint.
Let's just try to, since they're not playing any news on BBC yet, let's just tune around and see if we can get anything else. So 735, let's go down and see if we can get WWV at 15,000. So we got to twist this sucker all the way down to 0 to get 15,000. 15,000. So this is telling me it's zero beat there. So I would have to readjust the dial because that's pretty far off, be it from 735 down to 1500 to set 15735. But this isn't a good time of day for this range anyway. So let's go down to 10. And like I said, this sucker takes 2 men and a boy to twist it because they don't want you to move it.
For registration information, please go to www.usa.
So it's off 3 kilohertz. So you would just do the same thing I did before. Let's go down to 5. These all seem to be off about the same. So if I was to zero this, it would be really, really close to 0 for 5 and 10. Apparently, when I get way up there, 15,700, it throw the turner off. I don't know, or maybe it's just within that spec of that megahertz range. Like the low end of each megahertz range maybe needs to be tuned and different from the upper end. I don't know. Then again, this radio was probably made like in 1950 or 51, so it's getting pretty old. Still works great though. Let's see, what else could we listen to here? While we're here, let's listen to some, see if we get any medium wave. So we got 1080 is a strong station. My favorite sports station is 1310.
Baylor will play Iowa State at home, and Kansas faces off against Texas. There's a good chance Baylor and Kansas could be crowned champions. That would happen if both teams win.
All right, so zero beat says 1308 and a quarter. So not too far off.
If you're one of those hybrid worker types, keep the ticket on in the background. Just tell Alexa or Google Home to play 1310 the ticket.
Let's go back up to 15 and light my carpal tunnel on fire here, trying to get up there. And then run this up to 735. And let's see if we're still zero beat. Yes, we are. And I know there's another station at 770. I don't know what station it is. It's not in English.
Maybe how art could make it better for the everyday poor person. I'm not really sure what happened with it
But yeah, this old radio is pretty cool, and it still works great. Knock on wood. And yeah, so thought y'all might enjoy that. Thanks for hanging out.